Hi guys, so I know this type of video may seem like really different for me, and obviously I've literally just put the camera on and started filming, but I wanted to come on here and just talk about something that recently happened to me, and I think it's quite important to share it with anyone who's watching, just because as everybody gets older we go out into the working world and we really want to leave as good as a first impression as we can when it comes to being a young working professional. So I wanted to just kind of tell you guys a little bit about what I experienced over this last week and a half and how it made me feel. So yeah, we're basically just gonna talk about it today. So for a lot of you guys who don't know, I left my previous employer back in December 2017. I had left my previous job without another job to start, but I felt like I had gained everything I could from the company that I was working with. I'd progressed within my role, I'd met some amazing people, I'd achieved a lot of things. I knew what it was like working for a real corporate company, and I worked with some great managers, directors, things like that, and I'd achieved like a hell of a lot, I believe, in the 2.5 years I was there. So I left my job in December 2017 thinking, right, okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find a job, a new journey to start in 2018. So basically I started looking around, seeing what jobs were available, things like that, and so I took an interview with a smaller company for a same role but just in a different sector, which was interesting to me. I thought, great, now I can learn the other side of recruitment. I can learn the more locum temporary side of recruitment, which I thought was amazing. And I got like a really good impression from the director of that company and who would be my manager. I'd had a meeting with her briefly, and I'd had 2 meetings with my director, and I got a really good impression of him as a director and of what was my manager. So after the 2 interviews, I shortly was offered the position, and I was really excited to take that position. I thought, great, I feel good about my decision. I look forward to starting it in January 2018. So I started my job on the 8th of January 2018, and knowing that it was a different sector, well, a different division, I would say, because prior at my last job I'd done compliance for the permanent nursing recruitment division. So this new job was a compliance team leader role at within the locum healthcare division. So yeah, it was a different sector. However, I was aware of what I was getting myself into, going into a different division. I had spoken to friends of mine who have worked in the locum side of compliance before. So yeah, I felt like I was up to date as much as I could be without actually being there in the job, on my knowledge on locum compliance recruitment. So yeah, I started my job on Monday the 8th of January, and I really stuck my feet in, really wanted to just be a sponge and soak up as much information as I possibly could, which was which I would think is the right attitude to have when starting a new job, right? Well, I had my first week. I thought I'd done really well. I worked hard, I arrived on time, I didn't leave a moment before I was meant to leave. I was in communication with my manager, letting her know if I was leaving the office for going on lunch, or bless me, going on lunch, or going for like my 15-minute breaks, or going to the loo, things like that. And for me, I think having to relay to your manager that you have to go to that you need to go to the toilet is a bit much in this day and age, but I thought, let me just play along and be professional and portray myself in a really professional manner and be respectful that this is a new working environment, so over time it may become more flexible. So yeah, really happy with my first week. And there were a couple reservations that I had. However, I thought it best to not make any premature decisions purely because it is my first week in a new job, and you know, it wouldn't be smart to make any decisions you know, in a rush basically. I believe it's always good to just kind of, you know, find your feet first before you make decisions. So that was it, that was fine. And then yeah, so that was it, first week of work done. And then the second week, so which was the week that had just gone, I had attended work on Wednesday, and I had a meeting with my director, and he basically shocked me with some feedback that I'd received from colleagues or my manager and things like that. Feedback that just wasn't me, feedback that didn't sound like me at all, feedback that for me was really shocking to hear, simply because I hold myself quite high in my ability to do my job. I don't believe that working for one of the biggest recruitment companies in the country for 2.5 years would mean that I am not capable of, you know, doing the same job just in a different sector. So a lot of the feedback that I received was really confusing to me, and I didn't really appreciate it, to be honest. I felt quite offended, I felt quite insulted as well. I mean, things came into question like my communication, my adaptability, my ability to do the role, my ability to adapt to a new sector of recruitment, my you know, my ability to communicate with candidates, you know, my ability to, you know, chase documentations, or, you know, communicate with, you know, consultants or client managers to, you know, get what needed to be done, basically quick turnover. And obviously that's something that, you know, you need to have when you're, you know, working in recruitment, especially healthcare and temporary recruitment. So the fact that these things had all come to light after a week of employment was quite shocking to me. It was really shocking to me, and I really felt offended because I excelled at my last job. I excelled, I grew, you know, I had, you know, responsibilities and not just compliance. You know, I was, you know, communicating with clients, I was dealing with clients, candidates, I was dealing with, you know, other professionals within my workplace, finance, you know, overseas team, international team. There was a lot that came with my job in my last employment, and, you know, I believe that I excelled within that job, and, you know, it was apparent to those who I worked with that, you know, I was really good at what I did. So the fact that I'd been at a new company for a week and a half, and this was the feedback that I'd received, especially the fact that my manager only worked part-time. So I was quite shocked that someone could come to these types of conclusions after 3 days. Sorry guys, so my battery just died, so I just had to change the battery pack. But yeah, so basically my manager only worked 3 days a week. So the fact that, you know, these conclusions had come to light, you know, within with only being observed for three days, was quite shocking to me, and I was really offended by it. So after having a conversation with my director, I, you know, I went back to my desk, because, giving props to my director, he did say, okay, let me talk to your manager and see what we can do here, because, you know, he did believe that, you know, maybe the decision that they were making was a bit hasty. But I'd returned to my desk and I was infuriated. I was so angry that I was shaking. I couldn't believe what I'd heard. I was insulted, and, you know, it made me question my 13 years of working. I've been working since I was 15 years old, so, you know, in the whole time that I have been in employment, I have never received such negative feedback. And I'm one of them people that if I'm wrong, I will hold my hands up and say, hey, you know what, you're right, you are right and I'm wrong. My behaviour, my approach, my display of my ability to do this job has been completely incorrect, and this isn't for me. But the fact that, you know, I went in with, you know, with a positive attitude, willing to soak up everything that I could, willing to be a sponge, get to know my colleagues, get to know the business, and then run with it week 2, week 3, week 4, and so forth. So the fact that this was a conclusion that they had come to after you know, a week and a half of employment and 3 days of supervision, I was in just in shock, really. I really was. So, you know, that's basically what happened. So I went back to my desk and I was just shaking. I was so insulted. So I left my desk and I went to the bathroom to call my partner Aaron, and I basically told him as quickly as I could like what had happened, and he could even tell by my voice that I was shook, like I was shaking, because I felt so insulted, and he literally said, you know what, babe, you don't deserve to be treated like this, you need to leave. And I was so hesitant to leave because I've got bills to pay. I can't afford to be out of work, do you know what I mean? Which so many of us can't afford to be out of work. You know, I live in central London, and living in central London is so expensive. Private rent is so expensive. I don't have the luxury of going back to my mum's. I don't want to go back to my mum's. You know, I like my house. I like where I live. I love living with Aaron, you know, and that's the last thing I want to do. So I was like, you know, babe, are you sure that I should leave? Like, what about the bills that we have to pay? You know, what are we going to do? And if anybody who else is from central London, you know how hard it is to save if you live here. So, you know, I just want to make that apparent to you guys as well. And I'm pretty sure wherever you're watching this in the world, you know how difficult it is to save. And, you know, it's important to be in employment so that you can pay your bills. But he said, you know what, babe, don't worry. You know, just leave. You don't deserve this shit. Just leave and we will figure something out. We will figure it out together. So I returned to my office, went and spoke to my director and said, I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave. I don't want to, I can't work here anymore. I'm insulted and shocked, and trying to stay here would be wrong of me because the conversation that we just had has made me not want to work here anymore. It's made me not want to continue my employment here. It's made me second guess my choice of coming to work in this company. It's made me second guess your belief in me to do my job. It's made me second guess the people that I thought that I got along with last week, the people that I thought, oh, they will be like pretty cool colleagues to have, you know. So I just said, I need to go. I need to go. So I went and yeah, when I left, I was really, really nervous. My chest was so tight because I was so stressed out, and I was starting to think, you know, what am I going to do? What am I going to do now? I've got bills to pay. I've got rent to pay at the end of the month. Like, what am I going to do? But I believe it was the right thing to do, because knowing how I am, I would not have been able to stay. I would not have been able to stay. And yeah, I just walked out. So yeah, that was that. And I mean, one of the most shocking things for me was that, you know, my director, bear in mind he sits in a different office to every other employee in the business, he wasn't able to witness any of this supposed behaviour or ability, like lack of ability for me to do my job himself. He went off the comments from fellow colleagues, I don't know, or my manager who only works 3 days a week. So to be able to make an assessment like that and agree with an assessment like that after 3 days of supervision is shocking. But I guess, you know, each to their own, and I guess people do business differently. So that's that basically. But what I wanted to come on here and just basically say, just to wrap it all up, is that I know the importance of needing a job and wanting to work. It is very, very, very important. We all have bills to pay. We all have, you know, commitments. You know, we all want to, you know, make that money so that we can enjoy our lives as much as we can and, you know, work towards bigger and greater goals. I know that. But I will tell you something from me to you, from experiencing this after 13 years of constantly working. I do not 100% think that it is okay to treat people like that. If you are in a job where you feel that you are being mistreated, you are being misunderstood, you are being attacked, whether it be physically or mentally, do not allow yourself to stay in an environment like that, because it is hostile and it will mess up your mental state. It really, really will. I was determined that after I heard all that feedback, that it was not going to make me question my ability to do a good job, whichever employment route I should choose to go down. I know that I am capable. I know that I am able. I know that I, you know, have great adaptability. I know that my communication skills are on point. I know that my professional manner is on point as well, because I've never received bad feedback like that in 13 years of employment. Never. So I want just for you guys to know, especially you guys who are starting out in employment, so say you've come out of college or you're going into part-time work, things like that, make sure you have a voice. Make sure your voice is heard. If you're being told something by your managers or your peers or your supervisors that you believe to be false, then make sure your voice is heard. Don't be afraid to speak up. Fight your own corner. You are your biggest backup. Like, back yourself 100%. If you are in the right, then you are in the right. If you are in the wrong, then hold your hands up and say, okay, do you know what? I was wrong here. I was wrong. But if you're in the right, and if you believe in your heart, in your soul, in your gut that what you are saying is true, then you must stick to it. Don't ever let anybody talk you down on something that you believe in, you know? Don't ever let anybody make you feel that, you know, oh my God, maybe I'm not qualified. So I believe that making a decision that somebody is lacking of all these things after a week and a half of employment is shocking. It literally is. But just be sure to know yourselves that when you're going into employment, make sure you are strong in your stead, and make sure that if you believe that something is not right, or if you feel that you are being mistreated, insulted, if you know you're not given the chance to really prove yourself and apply yourself within this role that you've been given and you really want to do, then don't put up with it. Just don't. At the end of the day, if you don't believe in yourself, no one will. Like, no one will believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself first and foremost. And I know a lot of people struggle with self-belief, but trust me, out in the working world, you need to believe in yourself, because no one else is going to believe in you for you. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to be willing to prove to these people, this is why you employed me, because I'm bloody brilliant at what you employed me to do. No, yeah, I just wanted to come on here and let you guys know that that's what happened to me in the last week and a half. It's very unfortunate. I don't feel disheartened by it now. At the time I did. I felt really disheartened by it all. I'm not going to mention the company or any names like that because there's just no need. But yeah, it was just a really bad experience, and I really hope that no one else has to go through anything like this, or that you are going through anything like this if you're watching and you know you happen to be in a similar predicament. But yeah, that's basically it. So I just wanted to come in here and, you know, just basically inform you guys of what's been going on. Yeah, I hope you guys appreciated me coming on here and just, you know, sharing a bit of my experience and, you know, letting you know what's been going on with me recently. And yeah, let me know if you've had any experiences like this in the comment section down below. You know, and how you dealt with your situation, or how you know, moved on from it, or, you know, just if something like this has happened to you, how did you deal with it, and how did you, you know, turn it into a positive. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!